Well, Dwayne, it's been a couple days now since the news hit about Donald Sterling's situation with the Clippers, and a lot of people in and around the league have voiced their opinion in the last day or so. What is your opinion at this point, and particularly given your upbringing, Coach? You have sort of a unique vantage point. I wonder if you could comment from that perspective.
Well, coming through the '60s, if the comments are true or if that's the things are investigated, which I'm very confident the league will do a great job. If they're true, they're hurtful. Coming through the '60s and '70s and living through racial discrimination and all the things that we went through in those times, it's hurtful, and it's something that it shouldn't have a place in the NBA if they are true. But again, I'm trusting and believing in Adam that he will do an excellent job of investigating it and bringing it to a head and putting a stop to those type of feelings and racism. There's no place for that in the NBA whatsoever. And I trusted Adam. I know Adam, and I know what he stands for. And again, I want to say this too, Rachel. And when Larry Tannenbaum walked in the locker room last night, I'm so thankful we have an owner like him, because you're talking about a good man to the core. He's a man's man. He's a good man. And as I tell him all the time, he could fire me tomorrow, but I can say that I work for one of the best owners in the league.
Last night, Kyle made a statement at the end of his time on the podium, which I think is reflective of what's partly going on with the team. Right now, you got DeMar DeRozan 8th in playoff scoring, 1st in getting to the free throw line. And Kyle said DeMar's becoming a superstar in front of everyone's eyes. Just wanted to get your comments on that and how far along that statement is actually becoming true.
Well, it's on its way, but we're not there yet. I don't want to, and I don't think that they think we're there yet at that point. And it's great to see DeMar grow. There's still room for more growth on his part, and he knows it. And on the defensive end and places in the offensive area, but from where he came from, he's grown leaps and bounds. And what's the beautiful thing is there's a lot more there with him. And and same with Kyle. Kyle is proven to the league that he's one of the elite point guards in the league, with his leadership, not only his ability but his approach to the game, being a positive player, positive teammate. All those things are growing with those guys, and but in no way are we satisfied, and they're satisfied as far as where they are right now, and they're going to continue to grow, even through this series, because it's going to take some growth in some areas for us to be successful.
Coach, a quick follow-up. How much of DeMar's success revolves around the fact that he believes he can do it now?
That's a lot of it. He has confidence. He's growing. I mean, he's developed. He's worked and earned that confidence, and he's made himself an all-star. That's a confidence builder, and confidence is a huge issue in this league. And you playing in confidence. I thought he went through game one and experienced that and got that out of the way, and from that he grew and gained confidence from that. So. Again, he's continuing to grow, and he'd probably be the first to tell you he's not a finished product.
Coach, you were talking about the adjustments that you guys have been making between days, and obviously you have some time for install and to put those in. But you said you were pleased with how you're able to have some in-game adjustments along the way, too. I was wondering maybe if you could point out a couple of adjustments made in-game that have worked the best over the last couple of games.
I'd rather not do that because,
Sure.
they would have access to what we're talking about. But, they're not huge things. They're more subtle situations and how we cover certain things, pick and roll wise, post ups, who's the double team guy, where we're coming from, those type of things. Offensively, who's setting the screen, who's rolling, who's ducking in, who's spacing on the weak side, what position they are on the weak side. Those are all the things that are adjustments to how they're playing that we have to do on the fly. But I don't want to be any more specific than that. But those are kind of the subtle things that is going on during a game that probably is not met by the naked eye.
Sure. And just a quick follow, just for housekeeping purposes, did you have everybody in-house today watch film, or was it just the guys who were dinged up getting treatment?
Everybody's in today, guys getting shots and guys getting treatments, and we didn't have a full out blown practice, but everybody was in.
Kyle had a play last night, I think it was second quarter, and it was similar to a play he had in that fourth quarter run in Game 3, where he just goes into the paint, maybe into a crowd, and somehow pulls out an and one. And I wonder what goes through your mind on those plays, like where is he going with this, or it's kind of like a bulldog play where he just sort of forces himself to the basket and either gets a foul or a basket or both. How common is that with him, and what's your mind go through when he's pulling one of those off?
Well, it's pretty common. It's a play that's designed for him to attack the paint, not necessarily all the time to get to the rim, because he has the ability to make plays out of that. He's got the roll guy, he's got the corner pass, and he's got the rim to get to. So, but he has an uncanny ability of getting in there, a lot like Iverson type, to get in there and draw the foul, get it up over the trees and that type of thing. So, but with his strength, speed, and quickness, he has the ability to get in there and make plays, take hits, and complete the plays. But it's pretty common, because that's a big part of his game and a big plus for him, for a guy his size.
Just wondering, what do you think your team is capable of in the postseason?
Well, we're seeing, John. I think it's one of those things, Greg. We're a young team. Nobody expected us to be here. Every experience is a new experience for us. Guys are growing in every situation. DeMar DeRozan is getting better in the playoff situations. But most of all, going through this process, through these games, going through the playoffs is nothing but a plus for our franchise. It's because as I said, you don't want it to be a one time in the playoffs and never be seen again for 6 more years. You want it to be a growing experience, and with our core guys being so young, that should be their goal going forward. Now you've been in the playoffs once, you know what it tastes like, you know what it feels like, going through the season when, coaches preaching physicality, how hard you got to play, how you got to take care of the ball, why he's saying that, and because all that comes into the play in playoff basketball.
Did you guys do anything different defensively, against the Nets backcourt? Joe Johnson only took 7 shots. Him and Deron combined for 17 points, after both had very, very good game threes.
Well, we didn't do a lot different. We just mixed up our double team schemes and a double team coverages, but nothing tremendously different. Joe is a great offensive player, Zach, and we just want to try to make it tough for him to get shots, and because he is so explosive and he's so strong and so big that we just try to make it tough on him and to get his shots, and we did a decent job in that, and we know that each game is going to be a different challenge for us with him.
Just to follow up on that real quick, were you surprised he only took 7 shots?
Well, I don't, not surprised. I'm glad, but it's because he is such an explosive player, and again, you just want to make sure you try to limit as many shots you can from a great offensive player like Joe Johnson.
Just going back to the Joe Johnson thing, it seems like sometimes when he has the ball, just watching him on the sidelines, obviously you're trying to get your team into position to kind of get to where you want them to be. Just as a young team, how would you say they progress in terms of just that kind of part of the game and making sure that they're where you want to be in times when he has the ball in his hands?
Well, it's a learning experience, just in the fact, right, of guys understanding situations, who is the double team guy if we're double teaming, and that type of thing, and trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. That's because they're Jason's making adjustments with his offensive situation, so it changes up who is the help and who's supposed to be getting there to double team if we're double teaming. So those things are part of the growing process of a young team, young players to be able to read those situations, and I think our guys are growing as we go, and that's the hard thing about being a young team in the playoffs. A team like Brooklyn has seen everything. They've experienced everything. They've had every atmosphere you can have in the playoffs, and some of them have won championships. So that's the advantage you have in an experienced team and disadvantage you have as a young team. But our guys are growing and learning as we go.
And then one more follow-up, just for that bench. It's been pretty much the strength of their team all year, but so far in the series, you've kind of been able to kind of, I guess, neutralize them a little bit and kind of match their intensity and match their scoring. How key is that for you guys to be able to do that when, you have a team out there that's really deep like the Nets are?
Well, they're a very deep team. They're very deep at every position and a very talented, experienced team. So we just, that's our biggest challenge is to meet their physicality and how hard they're playing, how physical they are, and we have to meet that. And the only way we have a chance to win is to meet that intensity and do, get the 50-50 balls, do the dirty work, box out, rebound, and do all those things you have control of. You can't control whether you're going to make a three-point shot or not, but you can control your effort of going to 50-50 balls, your effort of challenging shots.
Dwane, do you think DeMar kind of has taken this series as kind of an opportunity to make a name for himself in this league?
No, I don't think so. I think he's already done that, Zach. I think him making the All-Star team kind of validated him, who he is and where he's come and what he's earned. I think now is about the team, more so about him, what he contributes to the team, more so than him as an individual. DeMar's never been a guy that thinks about himself first. And so, I think right now the only thing I see and feel and hear from DeMar is about what we can do, what the team can do. And so I think that's his approach throughout this series.
You talked a little bit earlier about how your team is sort of outgrown the jitters and developed in this series. I wondered if you could talk specifically about their play in the fourth quarter and how significant that's been. That's an area where you might think a young and experienced team would struggle, but instead your guys have really responded in the fourth quarter, it seems.
Well, that's kind of been our personality throughout the year, playing hard in the fourth quarter. And from a coaching standpoint, I'd rather do it throughout the game and not wait to the fourth quarter. But it's also a plus in the fact that the guys don't quit. They've never given up. They leave it on the court, and our kind of motto is, we run out of time. And, that's something that you try to develop, and our guys have developed that personality, and it's kind of carried over into the playoffs. But again, as I said, I'd rather be more consistent with our starts, our second quarter, our third quarter, than waiting to put the pedal to the metal in the fourth quarter.